Build your dreams, live rich, and leave rich.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Live Rich and Leave Rich. I'm Krish. Today, we're going to challenge a lot of the financial advice you've probably heard your whole life. We're going to explore a completely new way of thinking about money, one that's all about finding peace of mind today, not just piling up cash for a tomorrow that's never guaranteed. Now, before we dive in, just a quick reminder, everything here is for your education. To build a plan that's right for you, please always talk to a qualified financial advisor.
I mean, just let that sink in for a minute. So many of us are stuck on this hamster wheel, right? We're chasing some magic number, saving every penny, and constantly putting off the small joys of today for a future that, let's be honest, is completely uncertain. We're taught to build this massive mountain of wealth, but nobody ever tells us when it's okay to stop climbing. So what if the real goal isn't the size of the mountain, but the freedom and the peace you feel on the journey up? This idea, well, it's the very soul of everything we're about to unpack together.
Okay, so here's our game plan. We're going to start with the why this philosophy even exists. Then we'll face the 3 silent fears that are secretly running our financial lives. We'll bust some myths that are holding us back, and then build the 3 foundations of a truly rich life. And finally, we'll completely redefine what it means to leave rich. And I'll give you a simple, powerful action plan to get started.
All right, first things first, what do I even mean by live rich? Let's be crystal clear. This is not about fancy cars or giant houses. Not at all. It's about a huge shift in how you think about and use your money. Instead of a life where you're constantly compromising, stressing about every little expense, and pushing happiness down the road, living rich is about using your money as a tool to buy back your peace of mind. It's about building a life where you're not just getting by, you're actually truly thriving. Now let's get to the real heart of it all. See, underneath all the spreadsheets and investment apps, our financial decisions are almost always driven by a few deep core fears. This entire philosophy is basically reverse engineered to solve for those anxieties, the ones that keep pretty much every family awake at night.
Right? These are the questions that haunt us in the middle of the night. What if I lose my job? How will I pay the EMI? What if I or someone I love gets really sick and the medical bills just keep coming? And the big one, what if I'm just not here tomorrow to take care of my family? Here's the truth. If your financial plan doesn't have a solid, confident answer for every single one of these questions, it's not a plan. It's just a bunch of numbers on paper. It's a house of cards, and one gust of wind can bring the whole thing crashing down.
Let's zoom in on that second fear for a moment. Sickness. A single major illness in your family can literally make a decade of your hard-earned savings disappear into thin air. This is why we absolutely have to stop looking at health insurance as just another expense. It's not. It's dignity protection. It's the firewall between a medical emergency and a financial disaster. It makes sure that in the absolute worst moments of your life, your family can focus on healing, not on fighting about money. And if you're skeptical, just know that industry data shows over 90% of all health insurance claims get paid. This stuff works. So, if we want to build this life of peace, we've got to first tear down some of the old, broken ideas about money that we've all been taught. It's time to face the myths that sound smart, but are actually keeping us trapped in a cycle of stress and feeling like we never have enough. This is one of my favorite points because it just flips the script on what we're always told. We're obsessed with cutting costs, right? Don't buy that coffee. Cancel that subscription. And look, being disciplined is good, but that strategy has a hard limit. There's a ceiling on it. You can only cut so much before life just becomes miserable. But now, look at the other side, focusing on growing your income, investing in a new skill, starting that side hustle, asking for that raise. The potential there, it's literally unlimited. It's the difference between playing defense and playing offense with your money.
And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? This isn't just a nice saying, it's a strategic choice. It's the choice between a mindset of scarcity and a mindset of abundance. Scarcity is always asking, what else can I cut? But abundance asks, what can I create? Which one of those questions do you think leads to a richer life? Okay, let's tackle another huge myth, the idea that all debt is evil. Honestly, that's one of the most damaging financial lies out there. Debt is just a tool, and like any powerful tool, you can use it to build something amazing, or you can use it to cause a lot of damage. Good debt, as you can see here, is an investment in your future. It's that education loan for your kid, the mortgage on your first home. Bad debt? Well, that's just a tax on your future. It's that high-interest credit card debt for stuff you don't really need. The whole game is just knowing the difference.
I absolutely love this analogy. Fire isn't good or bad, right? It can keep you warm and cook your dinner, but if you don't control it, it will burn your house down. It is exactly the same with debt. When you are in control, when you're using it for a clear purpose, like buying an asset that will grow, it can actually speed up your journey. But the second it starts controlling you, it will burn down everything you've worked for.
You know, this reminds me of a powerful story I heard from a financial advisor. He was visiting a client's home. The son, who had a great job, was proudly talking about his 8 lakh per year salary. But his elderly parents, who lived with him, had a combined government pension of 24 lakhs a year. The advisor just watched as the daughter-in-law treated her in-laws with so much respect and care. And it was obvious that the real power in that house wasn't the son's salary, it was the parents' steady, guaranteed lifelong income. That pension commanded respect. It ensured their dignity. It's an incredible lesson. Sometimes a reliable income stream is way more powerful than any asset you can list on paper.
You see, that story about the pension, it perfectly sets up our next point. A truly rich life isn't just about how much money you have. It's about security, it's about dignity, it's about well-being. And all of that rests on 3 critical foundations that have to be kept in balance. And here they are, the 3 pillars: money, health, and time. It's like a 3-legged stool. If any one of those legs is weak, the whole thing just falls over. Think about it. Money without health? That's just regret. You can afford to go anywhere, but you're not well enough to do it. Health without money? That's dependency. You've got all the energy in the world, but you're reliant on others. And having money and health, but no time to enjoy it with the people you love, well, that's the biggest tragedy of all. A real financial plan manages all 3.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about living rich. Now, let's flip the coin and look at the other, equally important side of this: leaving rich. And I can promise you, it has almost nothing to do with the amount of money you leave behind. It's about leaving something so much more valuable.
So this is probably the most important question you can ever ask yourself financially. How much is enough? Without a finish line, you're just doomed to keep running forever, chasing more just for the sake of having more. The whole philosophy of leaving rich actually starts by defining your own personal finish line, so you know when you've won the game and you can start living even more freely.
And this right here, this is the absolute core of the Leave Rich philosophy. Your number one job is not to leave a giant pile of cash to your children. Your job is to raise capable, independent, and financially smart children. Because if you do that, they'll build their own wealth. And if you don't do that, well, no amount of money you leave them is going to save them from themselves. The greatest inheritance you can give is capability, not cash.
So practically speaking, what does leaving rich actually look like? It's simple. It means leaving behind clarity, not chaos. Imagine creating something like a legacy diary. It's just a single file or a folder that has all the critical information your family would need if you weren't there. Bank details, insurance policies, investments, property papers, even your passwords. It is the final, ultimate act of love. It saves them from a world of stress and confusion at the most difficult time of their lives.
Okay, enough philosophy. Let's get practical. How do you actually do this stuff? How do you start building this life? Well, here is a simple 5-step framework to put this entire philosophy into action starting today.
So here's your 5-step action plan. And listen, I know it might look like a lot, but just take it one step at a time. First, you build your fortress. You tackle those 3 fears with the right insurance. Second, you go on offense. You focus your energy on growing your income. Third, you get smart with leverage, using good debt to build assets. Fourth, you define your finish line. You figure out what enough looks like for you. And finally, you create that legacy diary for the people you love. I'm telling you, if you do just these 5 things, you will be more financially secure and at peace than 90% of the people around you.
All right, so let's wrap this up with the key takeaways. If you remember nothing else, remember these 5 things. 1. Financial planning is first and foremost about protecting your family's dignity. 2. Focus on growing your income. It has unlimited potential. 3. Learn to use debt as a powerful tool, not a trap. 4. Your true legacy is the capability you build in your kids and the clarity you leave for your family. And finally, number 5, always, always, always manage for the balance between money, health, and time.
So as we close out, I want to leave you with one final question to think about. What is the one thing you can do this week to bring more clarity and peace to your family's financial future? It doesn't have to be some huge, dramatic thing. Maybe it's just starting a new folder on your computer called Legacy Diary. Maybe it's making a 5-minute phone call to double-check your health insurance. Just one small step. If this philosophy of live rich and leave rich made sense to you today, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And if you want to join me on this journey, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks so much for being here.